All right, welcome into the final segment here of our Christmas episode for 2019. This segment brought to you by Medic Regional Blood Center. There will be lots of gifts given across East Tennessee this week. None will be so important as the gift of life-saving blood. 45 minutes of your time can save a neighbor's life. Merry Christmas and happy holidays from the folks at Medic Regional Blood Center who need your help, my help, everyone's help. All right. This is our final word, and I'm just going to fall back on the words of Ebenezer Scrooge. At one point, he said to his nephew Fred, "What reason have you to be merry?" So I'm going to ask you, moving forward, we talked about 2019. Let's talk calendar year 2020. What reason have Tennessee fans to be merry? Is it football or is it men's basketball? Where's the optimism right now?
Wow, that's a good question because it always comes down to.
It took me 10 segments to get to a good question.
Yeah, but it always comes down to what is your expectation? Because as we know in the football world, people go from a season like this, and all of a sudden say they're going to be 10-2 competing for the national championship.
So too much optimism.
We can put a hold on that right now. We'll sink that boat. I mean, to predict that this team has a likely chance of being 8-4, maybe beating somebody like a Florida or Georgia, maybe in a game like that, that's optimism to this. But basketball sounds like with the recruiting class they have coming in, you might have to give it to that because one or two guys in a basketball recruiting class can put you over the top. Football, you still have a ways to go before you're competing with the big boys.
This is almost a three-pronged question. More optimism for football, for men's basketball beginning of 2020, or men's basketball end of 2020 when you've got the next wave in here and you're starting your next team. Where do you guys go? Where's the optimism right now in this program, men's basketball or football?
To Will's point, I think there's more optimism that there's immediate success on the horizon in basketball. But I think what Tennessee accomplished in the final 7 games of this season and what they potentially do in the bowl game, I think fans are more excited in a way about the direction of football. Because 2-3 months ago, you didn't know if Jeremy Pruitt was the guy. And now I think people have more of an answer to that, and they feel much more stable in where this program is and where it's headed. So I think there's right now more excitement that even if next year is an 8-4 year, this football program's in good shape and has at least an immediate future that looks a lot better than it did 2-3 months ago.
Yeah, at what you were looking at, like Will alluded to earlier, when at one point in the season, you're 1-4 in football. And where you've moved that to coming off this recruiting class and then hopefully playing well in the bowl game, I think the optimism is what drives the bus. Tennessee is not just a football school, we've learned that, but I think that's where most of the optimism is with football.
I think it's basketball. I think with Juwan Jennings leaving, with quarterback still question marks on football side of it, you look at those recruiting rankings that you showed earlier, you're still 6th in the SEC. 7th in the SEC, whereas basketball, you're losing Bowden, but you've got some guys that are growing. You've got an incredible recruiting class. You look at the rest of the SEC roster, and there's a lot of really talented players that are going to be leaving. And so I think the optimism is around basketball looking at 2020.
I'll go the other way, only because I think fans have the optimism on football. I think fans have a tendency to get a little bit more starry-eyed with football than they do basketball, if not for the Turner injury. I think it's swung on the Turner thing. I think if you had Turner, I think more people would be looking at this thinking, okay, you can still make a tournament. You can still make the NCAA this year. I don't think most realistic fans are looking at that as the expectation, maybe the goal. I don't think most realistic fans think, oh yeah, we're going to the NCAA tournament with no point guard. I don't think that. I think they are looking at football though and going, we've already won 5 in a row. Hey, what's 12 more? I think it's on football, but I can see it going both ways. Again, I would have probably said basketball before the Turner news.
But I think the football side of it goes back to unrealistic expectations.
Right. Exactly. I'm just telling you what I think the fans are thinking.
Yeah, basketball, like it's almost icing on the cake the more successful we are. Whereas football, it's.
But we're talking about the unrealistic optimism, and we think that comes from
well, and here's the thing: if you're going to have unrealistic optimism, let's have it at Christmas. Thanks to all these guys for being here. Thanks to you for watching, and all of our sponsors. Man, they make this thing go, and they want you to have a happy and safe holiday. We'll see you right back here next Sunday to break down the Gator Bowl, talk about Tennessee, Wisconsin. Have a good Christmas. See you.